Well, here we go again with another attempt to fix puncture in my Z10 tyre. If you recall in the other videos, the mushroom plug method, which I had high hopes for, admittedly, failed spectacularly. For some reason, this little hole, this slit, just kept eating the plugs and sucking them back into the tyre. So goodness knows how many. Well, actually, I know how many. There's three of those plugs rattling around inside between the tyre and the wheel. So as a method for fixing a puncture, I thought I'd have to try and find a different one. So what I ended up doing was buying something that I'd seen and was actually quite a lot cheaper than the mushroom plugs. It's these kind of sticky straw type things. That's about the best way I can describe them, really. It's a sort of you have a kind of wand, which is like a big needle, and then these kind of well, there's the tools as they're coming out. There's the needle, which has got like a big needle, and another reaming tool, a bit different to the other one, and the little cheapy cutty knife thing. But these are the things that do the business. These are the sort of sticky straw type thing. They look like pipe cleaners, and I thought, well, you know, it's hard to tell what they're like from there, because they're covered. They've got like a backing paper and a clear film over them. But I thought it's worth giving them a go. So after having cleaned the wheel off, the tyre off again, I thought I better just use the reaming tool, though I'm getting a little bit worried about the amount of times I've done this, because each time I've failed, I felt like duty bound to sort of clear the passageway, as it were, with the reaming tool. So I'm giving it another go. This one's not quite so toothy and abrasive, so I thought, well, it probably ain't going to do too much more damage. I just sort of use it because it says so in the instructions. But there we have the hole, and I really don't want to widen it anymore, because I can't see that that's a bit good. This is the sticky stuff. Now basically you thread this into the needle, and believe me, it's really hard stuff to get off the backing paper. That is phenomenally sticky, and I thought, well, this looks a bit more positive. It's like a sort of cloth or a material, I can't describe it really. It looks like a licorice stick, but basically it's extremely sticky and quite hard to get through into that needle without getting it all on your fingers and everything. But I thought it's got to be a bit better than the plugs, because there's no way that's going to be sucked in, not with all that stickiness on it. So anyway, with some effort, I managed to drive it in to the hole. Now the instructions say specifically to make sure the loop that is created as you drive it through the hole is looks like a good centimetre clear of the back of the tyre. Obviously it doesn't want to be sitting in the tyre. And then what you're supposed to do is, once you're sure it's down far enough, you're supposed to give it a good hard pull, and the needle which has got a split in the end, will just pull through. So here we go. Yeah, there's the hard pull, and the needle is now released, leaving the sticky things sticking out of the tyre with a good centimetre below the surface of the tyre. So that absolutely fills the hole, and it's also very sticky. So I thought, right, here we go. We better sort of inflate it. So again, this is the sort of same order as with the mushroom plugs. Inflate it before you chop the ends off. So that's just my extender valve, which obviously anyone with a Z10 knows that they have to have some form of extender, because there's no way of reaching the valve without the extender. So I'm getting pretty used to this now. Hi there. Anyway, pumped it, I touched the pump to it, and now I'm gonna go mental. So again, I've that's at double speed, but you don't need to see how long it took me to pump it up, because even at double speed it did take quite a while, and I really ought to get an electric pump of some description to speed it up. But anyway, that's as pumped up now. It made a nice solid round tyre, so I was quite hopeful for that. So I thought, right, here we go, let's just chop off the end. Now, chopping off the end seems to be, I wasn't quite sure, because it doesn't really give you a lot of guidelines. Neither the mushroom plugs nor this is about how close to the tyre to actually cut it. My gut feeling is to cut it as close as possible, because I'm thinking that if you leave something, too proud a plug, that somehow is going, as you roll on it, it's going to somehow force its way back into the tyre, which is obviously what I thought might have happened with the mushroom plugs. But at the same time, I didn't want to cut it too short in case the rubber started to contract over the top of it, and which I thought also could have contributed to the mushroom plug being sucked in, because the sort of gap closed and the only way for the plug to go was inwards. And so I didn't want to risk that happening with this, even though this is a lot stickier and should offer some resistance to being sucked in or pushed out. But anyway, I decided I'd just cut it as close to the tyre as I could, because I didn't want to feel it bumping over every time I went, which obviously you don't want to do, because that will annoy me. So there we got a sort of like a kind of sticky wart on the tyre. I thought, that does feel really positive. The tyre was nice and hard. The sticky wart was looked solid, and it wasn't moving in any way. So I thought we'd better just give it a go now. So I think that's the next thing I did. Was once I was happy, I sort of give it a little run up the road. I didn't go as far as I did last time, but I just wanted to sort of see what happened when the wheel rolled on it, just to sort of satisfy my curiosity. But it certainly seemed nice and firm. In fact, I was lucky because I just beat the rain. You can see the rain starting to fall. It actually came down pretty heavily after that. So for me, where I am, it's definitely an outdoor job, because I haven't really got the space in the house, and I've got no shed or garage or anything. I mean, Bath is terrible for sort of places without facilities. But here we are. We're more or less happy with that now. Tyre still seems to be pretty hard and solid. So one last thing I did was I thought, well, I'll just see if there's any bubbles. So I got some soapy water and smeared it on the area, and looked quite closely to see if I could see any little bubbles coming up. Point of fact, there were no bubbles, but about half an hour after I'd finished doing all of this, I noticed the tyre had gone down, and I thought, oh well, that didn't work then. So after all my optimism with the sort of sticky licorice stick method, I got a little bit despondent after that. So I thought, well, I've got to give it another go. So this time, not only did I give it another go, I put a load of glue in there as well, because I got some puncture repair kit glue for a sort of ordinary bicycle tyre. So I squirted some of that into the hole, which and then repeated the procedure with the licorice stick, and forced that in over the glue, and added a little bit more glue as a dab over the sort of cut end once I pumped it up and cut it off. So I thought, well, if this doesn't hold, nothing is. And as an extra precaution, I left it overnight as well, so I thought it might need to harden off. So just give it the best chance I possibly can before actually riding on it. Let's have a team photograph. Yes, wheelers. Hey! Leave the selfie thing. Yes, it is. Yeah, somebody who knows. What have you got? What you got?
I got a Sherman.
You got a Sherman. Well, the needle's certainly not dropping, is it? Look at that. That's rock solid. So with the level not appearing to have gone down after that 5-mile ride on the Bath to Bristol cycle path with my sister and her partner, I thought I'd give it another go the next day, as they were still keen to do another ride. So we took it to another nice little bit of cycle path between Bath and the village of Wellow, and put it to its paces again. And I'm pleased to report that there was no degradation, no loss. The plug stayed rock solid and the tyre stayed rock hard. So I deem the licorice sticky method a complete success, and would definitely going to put a cut down version of that little kit in my little tool satchel on the back of the Z10, because you never know.